So let's take a look at this next problem. Number 6, suppose gravel is being poured into a conical pile at a rate of 5 meters cubed per second, and suppose that the radius r of the cone is always half its height h. How fast is the height of the pile increasing when the height is 10 meters? Note that the formula for the volume of a cone is V equals 1/3 pi r squared times h. So let's write what I want. What do I want out of this problem? Well, I want to figure out how fast the height of the pile is increasing when the height is 10 meters. So I want dh dt, right? Because as time goes on, my height is going to change at h is equal to 10 meters. What do I know? Okay, well, I know that gravel is being poured into the conical pile at 5 meters cubed per second. So I know that dV dt is equal to 5 meters cubed per second, right? Gravel is being poured into that pile. The volume is changing with respect to time at 5 meters cubed per second. And I also know that the radius r of this cone is always half its height h. So r is equal to 1/2 h. The radius of the cone is always half of its height h. Okay, and then I know the volume. It gave us the volume formula. So volume is equal to 1/3 pi r squared times h. Okay, so let's take a closer look at this volume formula. So I have that the volume is equal to 1/3 pi r squared times h. And using my second formula in my know section, I know that radius is equal to 1/2 h. So I'm going to plug in 1/2 h and for r. And then I'm going to use a little algebraic simplification. So I get volume is equal to 1/3 pi times 1/4 h squared. I squared both of those terms times h. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little bit of simplification, and I get that the volume is equal to, the volume is equal to 1/12 pi h cubed. So now I have a formula that I input h, and then I get an output volume. Okay, so now I want to take the derivative of this with respect to time. So let's take dv, or let's take the derivative of both sides with respect to time. Okay, so as time goes on, does my volume change? Yes, so I'm left with dV dt. Okay, 1/12 and pi are constant, so I can pull them out. And now I'm looking at the derivative with respect to time of h cubed, so I got to ask myself, does my height change as time goes on? It does. So height is a function of time. So we're going to do some implicit differentiation. Okay, so dV dt is equal to 1/12 pi. Okay, so I'm first going to do my power rule. So I bring down the 3. And then I keep the inside function, and I bring down the exponent by 1. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply this by the derivative of the inside, because the height is changing as time goes on. It's a function of time. So I'm left with dh dt. Okay, so now I want to plug in everything I know. I want the height to be 10 meters, and I know that my volume, dV dt, my volume is changing with respect to time at 5 meters cubed per second. So let's plug in everything that we know. So 5 is equal to 1/12 pi times 310 squared, and I need to solve for dH dt. Okay, so 1/12 and 1/12 times 3, that gives me a 1/4. Okay, so let me do my simplification. I'm kind of running out of space, so let me make a little line and make an arrow. So 5 is equal to 1/4 pi times 100 times dH dt. Okay, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. So I get 20 is equal to pi times 100 times dH dt, and I'm going to divide both sides by pi times 100. So I get 1/5 pi is equal to dH dt. Okay, and now I can write a lovely sentence for myself. I can say that when the height of the pile is at 10 meters, the rate of the pile is increasing at 1/5 pi meters per second. Perfect. So let's take a look at this next problem. It says, suppose a rectangular beam is cut from a cylindrical log of a diameter of 40 centimeters as shown in the image below. The strength of the beam S is given by the formula S equals 7 times W times H squared, where W represents the width of the beam in centimeters and H represents the height of the beam in centimeters. I want to find the width and the height of the beam with maximum strength that can be cut from the log, and I want to justify my answer. Okay, so this maximum strength is a dead giveaway that I'm working with an optimization problem. I want to find the maximum strength. So for an optimization problem, I need a objective function and I need a constraint equation, right? That kind of like limits my variable. So I see that the strength formula is given by S equals 7WH squared, and I want to find the maximum strength. So I know that my objective equation is S equals 7WH squared times H squared. And I also know that the diameter of the log is 40 centimeters as shown in this cross section, right? So can I come up with some sort of equation that is in a constraint equation that relates 40 H and W? Well, yeah, I could use Pythagoras' theorem. I know that 40 squared is going to be equal to W squared plus H squared. Okay, so now I want to maximize this formula right here. Okay, so I only want to work with one input value, right? Right now I'm working with W and H, so I kind of want to write one in terms of the other. Okay, well, using this constraint equation, I can see that I can write this as 40 squared minus W squared is equal to H squared. Okay, and then I can replace H squared with 40 squared minus W squared in my objective function. So let's rewrite all of that. So S is now equal to 7W times 40 squared minus W squared. Okay, so S is equal to 7W times 1600 minus W squared. Okay, so I'm going to factor in that 7W, so I get S is equal to 11,200W minus 7W cubed. Okay, so now this is a wonderful formula to work with, because now I need to find the critical points, right? I want to find the critical points when I'm working with optimization. Okay, so let's take the derivative with respect to W of my S formula. Okay, so the derivative of 11,200 W is just going to be 11,200, and the derivative of negative 7W cubed is negative 21W squared. Okay, so I need to evaluate critical points, right? And critical points occur where the derivative is 0 or does not exist. So I'm going to set this equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 11,200 minus 21W squared. And I want to solve for W. So I move over this 11,200. And then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 21. So I believe, right, a negative number divided by a negative number, you get a positive number, and they both have a factor of 7 in common, so I get 1,600. Oops, I accidentally hit the highlighter. So 1,600 divided by 3 is equal to W squared. So now that I have W squared, I want to take, I'm going to write it up here, so 1,600 divided by 3 is equal to W squared, and I want to take the square root of this, so I get plus or minus the square root of 1,600 divided by 3 is equal to W. Clearly having a negative value wouldn't make sense in the context of the problem, so I'm only looking at the square root of 1,600 divided by 3 is equal to W. And now I need to verify that this is in fact the maximum value in terms of the strength, right? That I need to verify that this is the high. So here is, I'm going to use the first derivative test, and here is W is equal to the square root of 1,600 divided by 3. Clearly, what are my bounds? Well, W cannot be less than 0, right? So I can stop at W equals 0. It wouldn't make sense for W to be negative. And what's the maximum W can be? Well, what if H is 0? Well, then if H is 0, right, if H is 0, then I would have 40 squared is equal to W squared plus 0 squared, right? Or I get 40 squared is equal to W squared, take the square root, and I get W is equal to 40. Okay, so I know the maximum that it can be is W is equal to 40. And now I want to verify that this is the actual maximum value using the first derivative test. Okay, so I want to input values in between 0 and the square root of 1,600 divided by 3. So I want to find a good testing point. So a good testing point would be like W is equal to 1, and I want to plug in W is equal to 1 into the derivative, and that will tell me what, I guess I should not have used F. I should use S prime, and this will tell me what S is going to look like. So for W is equal to 1, I'm going to plug that into the derivative over here. So it appears that I would get something positive, right? In fact, I would get 11,200 minus 21 times 1 squared, right? So 11,200 minus 21 gives me, so S prime of 1 is equal to 11,179. So this tells me that all the values in this interval are positive, and so my S is going upwards. And now I do the same thing with this interval. So a good testing point would be like 30, because this is approximately 23.09. Okay, so S prime of 30. Okay, so if I plug in 30 into the derivative, I get negative 7,700. And so this tells me that all the values in this interval, the outputs into the derivative are going to be negative, and so my S function is going downward. So this, in fact, confirms that I have a maximum, a local maximum. Perfect. Okay, so now I need to solve for H. Okay, well, I know that using my objective or my constraint equation, that 40 squared is equal to the square root of 1600 divided by 3 squared. I'm plugging in using this formula right here. I'm plugging in W, and I'm going to solve for H. Okay, so this is just 40 squared, which is equal to 1600 divided by 3 plus H squared. Okay, so I move over that 1600 divided by 3, so 1600 minus 1600 divided by 3 is equal to H squared, and 1600 minus 1600 divided by 3 is going to give me 3200 divided by 3, which is equal to H squared. And now I take the square root, and it wouldn't make sense to look at the negative value, so I get the square root of 3200 divided by 3 is equal to H. And now I can write a wonderful sentence to let the reader know that I have found the maximum height and width that gives me the maximum strength. So the width and height that can be cut from the log that provides maximum strength are W is equal to the square root of 1600 divided by 3, which is approximately 23.09 centimeters, and H, which is equal to the square root of 3200 divided by 3, which is approximately 32.66 centimeters.